I feel like street punk was one of those. First of all, it's such a fucking like ubiquitous, like it's a big word. You know what I mean?
It really is.
So all encompassing. You know, you can throw oi in there if you wanted to, right? Like
I didn't used to understand that, dude, until I made that video.
They're a street punk band. I don't know. I guess they're an oi band, but they're also a street punk band. So
it's weird, isn't it? What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast. We're hanging out tonight. This is probably going to be like a companion piece for the video that I'm dropping right before this. We're talking about street punk, specifically stuff from like our generation, like 94, 95 up to like 2005, whatever, somewhere in that vicinity. It doesn't have to be nailed down to that, but somewhere like stuff we jammed when we were young. We're not talking about 82 stuff. We're not talking about 77 stuff. We're talking about 90 shit because that's where we went to high school and graduated and became young adults. And that's when we cut our teeth on that music, you know. And that's right. I did a video like 6, 7, 8 months ago, and I didn't think it was going to do particularly well. I just did it to do it, and it did really good, not really well with numbers, right? And so I think it's a topic that people want to hear about. And so all we're going to do is we're talking about some important street punk bands to us. This is more of a to us thing necessarily than the best thing in the world. And we'll talk about like more important stuff in general too, I'm sure. But this is more like our list. So don't think that we're leaving somebody out because we don't think that they're important. This is strictly like our favorite bands type of talk. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crossover on our list here, dude.
I don't even have a list because I already knew that was going to happen. And I was like, let's just talk about some good bands that we like.
I had to make one because I feel like street punk was one of those. First of all, it's such a fucking like ubiquitous, like it's a big word. You know what I mean?
It really is.
So all encompassing. You know, you can throw oi in there if you wanted to, right? Like
I didn't used to understand that, dude, until I made that video.
They're a street punk band. I don't know. I guess they're an oi band, but they're also a street punk band. So
it's weird, isn't it?
You know, yeah. So there's a lot of like overlap there, but like, you know, the first kind of punk. I mean, obviously Rancid. Like let's talk about that for a second, right?
Right.
It's safe to say
we don't cover them on this channel very often, so it'd be nice to talk about them a little bit.
We never bring them. I mean, obvious fucking 90s street punk band. All right. Like,
that's a divisive comment. Some people really don't think they're a street punk band. And I guess I didn't used to consider them a street punk band. I just thought they were just like a punk rock band, right? Until I started doing like all the research for these videos. And then I realized that street punk, like you said, meant a lot more stuff than what I thought it meant.
Yeah.
And so I have come to the conclusion that Rancid is, in fact, a street punk band. And if you want to argue with me about that, the comments are down below. I'd be happy to oblige.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's an obvious one.
Yeah. Dude, so okay. What about Rancid do you love? What makes you think that they're an important street punk band? And then give me maybe your favorite couple of tracks or albums or something. Just like, what do you love about Rancid?
What do I love about Rancid, man? Fuck. I mean,
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, I mean, they're your favorite band, so
yeah. Well, because I can make it pretty simple, and I can maybe jumpstart some thoughts in your brain. Like, I love that they're able to have many different sounds and always have seemingly the same attitude, no matter what the sound is coming out of the stereo. Mm-hmm. They seem to be empathetic people, and they tell stories really well. Plus, you have got some of the best musicians in the genre, so it's kind of a perfect mixture, honestly. And I understand people that don't like them because I understand people that simply don't like shit that's cool, that's like popular, and they don't even realize they're doing it sometimes. And I get it, man. It is what it is. And also they're not going to be everybody's favorite band, so it doesn't bother me.
That's well said. I like their songwriting abilities. I think
good, isn't it?
I think they like put together songs like fucking insanely well, and you know they're extremely hooky, and they get stuck in your head. The lyrics.
Dude.
They have a crazy energy about them, and they're just a one-of-a-kind band. But like, you know, there's certain elements. I mean, aesthetically, street punk, right?
Right.
Like, the jackets, the fucking mohawk.
Specifically Tim. He's never really changed. He's always looked like that.
He's bald as shit now, but yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, that head tattoo is crazy.
Yeah. But Lars, they all look pretty street punky, dude. I mean, except like Matt Freeman's got this like.
Well, he's like a grease monster type. He's like a like a hot rod guy.
Cars or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so aesthetically, and then also their sound, right? Like it's got that obviously like 77 style influenced, you know, kind of sound, right? But then they got this like hardcore kind of like faster side to them too, you know. So you know, like there's a big difference between Rancid's self-titled 93, which is like every song is like fucking fast,
right?
Almost like a hardcore record, in a way. And then like Let's Go, right? Let's Go is definitely more of like a street, like they slowed it down when Lars came in, and
yeah, that's a good point. Self-titled 93 is definitely closer to hardcore, and Let's Go is more close to like 77 or street punk music. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people in the comments tell me that Rancid was a pop punk band more than once, and I just don't understand. I think they're trying to be edgelordy type saying that shit or gaslight me or whatever, but I mean, they are good at writing songs, but that doesn't mean they're a pop punk band. That's weird.
They have a pop sensibility, but I wouldn't call them pop punk.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, it's the strangest comment. I think they're just trying to like light me up and get me all frustrated.
Or they really believe that Rancid's pop punk. Either way, I don't think that's true. But if you do think they are, in the comments below, please tell us why they're pop punk.
Explain to me. Like, they're going to tell me it's because of Fall Back Down and Time Bomb, and that's what they're going to say. Because like I disagree with that argument, but I can see how some like dude that listens to nothing but Crass and Discharge would be like, they're a pop punk band. Oh yeah, I hate everything.
Into like Crass and Discharge. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the anarchist punk types are so pretentious, dude. They're just, but you know, I love them nonetheless. What are your favorite albums by Rancid?
Wow, that's a tough one. I really I love Let's Go, man. I think that's probably I go between Let's Go and Out Come the Wolves a lot.
Yeah.
Those are my two big. I mean, and Out Come the Wolves was the first, you know, one of the first punk albums I ever had, you know.
That album's my favorite album, period.
Yeah.
Like, by a long shot. But as I get older, I went back to Let's Go quite a bit, and really, like, as a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm probably going to listen to that now that we've talked about it. It really is. It's a little too long. Other than that, it's amazing. I can't quit talking about how much I love Troublemaker, dude. People don't like that record, but they haven't given it a chance, man. Go back and listen to it. Like, stop what you're doing, sit down with the record like you would any other record in the 90s and listen to it, and maybe get out the lyric sheet with it and read it. Bro, it's a great album, man. Like, I listen to it all the time. Like, it surprises me how much I listen to that record.
I need to really go back. I mean, I'll admit this. Like, I kind of stopped listening to Rancid because I didn't want it to be like ruined for me. I was afraid that I wouldn't like it, you know. So
I felt that too.
I want to stay with the albums that I'm familiar with, and that's cool. I got my little handful of them up until like Life Won't Wait, which I didn't really get. Life Won't Wait. I still struggle with that record a lot. But
interesting, really. I'm surprised that you have a pretty eclectic music taste.
I mean, it's not. I guess it's not what I expected. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think anybody expected that record. I certainly didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a very like a lot of reggae on that record, you know, and which is cool, and even like some more folky elements, and they really experimented a lot on that record, and you know, Rancid 2000. I don't know, it's not my favorite, but it's some people's favorite Rancid album. You know what I'm saying?
That's the weirdest. Yeah, all those people are like 30 or younger, probably.
I can understand why. It's a very aggressive hardcore record, and it kind of harkens back to like self-titled a little bit. But even on Let's Go, there's no like reggae or ska. So that's why I think on like you know on and Out Come Wolves, they introduced the like reggae elements, and that was like whoa. Like when I heard like Old Friend, which was also one of my favorite songs.
That was my favorite song, period, until I just switched it up one day. I don't even know when or why, but
I love it. When I was in the 7th grade, I fucking loved that song. 7th, 8th grade. Like, you know, as a little kid, you know what I mean? Like,
I still love it, dude. It's got the lyrics are beautiful.
It's amazing. It's an amazing song. And being from the Bay Area, like they reference a lot of places around here. And
I am a little jealous that you get to like see that stuff in your mind as they talk about it in their songs.
When the time comes that you come here, we'll like visit all the spots that Tim talks about.
Oh, dude, I'll fly out there just to go hang out with you and do that.
Another East Bay Night, for instance, like all those lyrics. I mean, I live like in that area, like the streets that he's talking about. And all
That's so crazy, man. That's so awesome.
It's not the same. city that he grew up in, right?
Right. But it's still cool to be able to look at that and envision like what he's saying and be like, oh man, he's talking about this block right here.
Yeah, it's
like,
really cool.
That's how I felt when I went to LA and saw the Hollywood sign. It was like, it's not the same as it was in like the 60s, but like,
yeah, dude.
Hollywood by and large is pretty gross, but like there's a lot of history in that one sign that I can appreciate. Like I understand Hollywood's pretty gross, but I'm a fan of film, and I'm a fan of like low budget DIY horror films specifically. And that's where Hollywood came from, is it came from DIY. So, it's not any longer that way, but neither is music. And it started very DIY too. So you can gripe if you want. I choose to look at it a little more romantically if I get an opportunity to. Yeah. And I understand that I'm probably optimistic to a fault, to be honest, because I like to see the good in things. And I'm so sick of everything being so fucking negative all the time, just in general, like just every day. People are just like, ew, I don't like this, and ew, I hate this, and ew, people this. And
I think people are jaded now,
you can choose to not be jaded, man. It's a choice. Your mood is typically, especially in America, a choice.
Yeah, and also like side note, we'll get back to the bands. It's like the accessibility of everything makes people not appreciate things as much.
Yeah,
like information is at your fingertips. Whatever you want is so easily available at any fucking point. So,
well, dude,
all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it's wild, bro.
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah. And it's just the instant satisfaction that people want all the time. If they don't get it, then they're like fucking babies about it. So, anyways, so yeah, Rancid.
They will spark a conversation, bro. That's one reason to love that band, is that band. You could start talking about that band and end up on a whole different conversation, and you got there organically. So yeah, that's a good point to make.
Also, that band's important to like all my friends that like play punk and like grew up with me too, because I think that was like one of the most important punk bands.
Well, it is. I mean, they are still one of the most important punk bands, and they're a gateway band too. So like, not only are they actually a punk band, but they're also a gateway to like deep cut punk, which without that, how do we get some of these like bands that you and I love that we listen to on Bandcamp? You can't get there without that. And so I love them for that too, and they still rock. They still support smaller bands, and Lars is always listening to like shit that you're like, how is he listening to that? Like it's cool, man. It's real cool. But let's move on to another band. So let me bring one to the table right now.
Please.
This is a band that I think got a lot of, I don't know what to call it, like a lot of crap from people for a lot of years. And there's two of them. I'm going to bring two at the same time. Is that okay?
Yeah.
One's from Boston, one's from New York. Do you know where I'm going?
I do. I think I do.
Okay. The Unseen and The Casualties, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. These are two of the most important street punk bands, at least, again, from our era. Okay, because The Casualties were the ones that were always on a really small DIY label, but somehow made a big enough impact to have a large audience.
Encore Records, right?
Yeah, and then the Unseen were that Boston like street punk hardcore band that got on Hellcat and really were probably bigger than they ever were going to be otherwise.
Yeah,
and they were amazing musicians. Like they did really cool stuff, and so like. I remember when the Unseen weren't on Hellcat yet, and I got their CDs. At the end of the CDs, if you let it play, there was a secret track. And on one of their albums, they did a Michael Jackson cover. And on another one, they did Every Rose Has Its Thorn. And I thought it was so cool that these punk bands were playing these like iconic 80s and 90s like pop rock and pop songs, but with a punk rock attitude. And that's how I really understood that, like, you don't have to listen to just punk rock music. Like stuff like that matters, man. Those bands covering those songs.
Yeah,
it really matters to a young kid that's impressionable and like somebody that's maybe not secure in their own skin, thinking like, oh man, but I kind of like George Jones, dude. Like, is that okay? Yeah, you can like whatever you want, man. As long as the dude's not a POS and like whatever you want.
There you go.
I don't know George Jones, so I just pulled that out of a hat. My dad liked him, so I don't really know if he's a good dude or not. But like, and then The Casualties, Now I don't know what all happened with Jorge. It's none of my business. I don't. He's not in the band any longer. I don't really know why. I heard he quit. I also heard it wasn't because he quit. So I'm speaking solely on their impact as street punk bands. Do you have any opinion on those two bands?
You know, that band was so off my radar, man.
Which one?
The Casualties.
Wow.
I will say, because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you on this one. The Mohawk shit like seemed like so gimmicky to me, man. I was never a Mohawk punker guy, right? So it's like when I saw those dudes, I'm like, I like the Exploited. You know, if I was gonna like go that direction, I know, right? Like
That's like, okay, so like I don't understand what's gimmicky about it though.
I just like the aesthetic.
Like, I don't necessarily like doing it, but I have like a battle vest that I wear all the time. I have patches on all my clothes. I used to have
100%.
green hair and shit. Like,
Dude, for whatever reason, during my formative years getting into punk, that wasn't a band that I gravitated to. Right?
Hey man, everybody has their journey, bro. Like,
It just,
I mean,
it didn't happen.
I'm more confused by your like distaste for the visual appearance. I don't, that should have really made a difference to me.
Yeah, because back then, you know, 7th, 8th grade, at least for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it might be for you too, you were drawn to stuff by how it looks too, right? If the logo was cool, if the guys look cool, you'd be like, fuck, all right, I'm gonna give this a shot. You take it home, you spin it. Either you liked it or you didn't, or you felt no way about it, right? So with them, I just kind of glossed over it. I'm like, these guys look corny. I'm good. Like,
see, I had the exact opposite thing. I was like, oh shit, my people, and I grabbed it. Like, because okay, so I might have told this story before on here, and if I'm repeating myself, deal with it. When I was a little kid, I don't know how old, maybe 7, 8, 9, young, 3rd grade, 4th grade, something like that. I was at Walmart with my mom. We were standing in line, and there was a guy standing in front of us, and he had a sleeveless shirt. He had on bondage pants, and he had on, he had like a big, I think it was blue mohawk, and it was like kind of messy, but it was like, 6, 7, 8 inches long. It was kind of up. Yeah. He had a bunch of tattoos. And he had a septum piercing, and he was just like talking to this other dude that looked like a normal ass guy, right? Yeah. And I was standing there, I was looking at him, and I told my mom, I pulled her shirt. I was like, Mom, look at that guy. And she was like, oh my goodness. And she like kind of like was like, a typical, single mom. She pulled me close to her, and she's like, and I was like, I'm gonna look like that when I grow up. And she was like, sure, buddy, sure. And like,
you got close.
Like I understand that there's a degree of like cheesy in that. I get it, because there is. But I think it's kind of endearing, because it does tell you, like, those are your people, man. You can walk up to those guys, and those dudes will probably be cool. If you walk up to them and you're wearing like a freaking Lawrence Arms shirt, they'll be like, "Oh, cool shirt." Like, even if they look like they don't listen to Lawrence Arms, they probably have heard of them. Yeah. And so it also, it depends on where you grew up, man. I didn't have nobody telling me what I should or shouldn't like, so I didn't know. I thought that looked cool. I grabbed it. So I don't know.
I was more the hippie punk type.
Okay. Well, yeah, but East Bay shit though. I mean, look at the bands like fucking Crimson and Filth, Op Ivy. They weren't mohawk wearing red hair types.
Dudes that wore like weird shit around their necks and fucking, like just different vibe.
Dude, well, that's the like the genesis of like crust punk, honestly. And I talk about that in my other videos. I talk about Osrodden and Filth in that video. Spoiler alert. So like those bands don't really fit that mold. They don't have but then again, neither does something like Coxbar. They're clearly a street punk band. So like you said, very, very,
very different. So like the aesthetics, and like to that point, Rancid, they didn't really let themselves be like in the liner notes and stuff, and like their packaging. They had really cool packaging, dude. Like
always.
Like their album covers look fucking dope. Like always. Let's Go was like a map of the Bay Area with that little fist tattoo, you know what I mean? Like American neo-traditional tattoo.
Yeah.
Over the top of it and said, "Let's go." And you're like, whoa. But there wasn't some picture of them on the cover looking all fucking cheeseball. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but look, flip it over.
Yeah. But like,
look at Out on the Wolves is a picture of Lars. Like there's pictures of those guys all over the place in their albums.
Yeah, but it's not like obvious though, right? It's like there's not a lot of color either, right? So it's like in black and white. So all I'm saying is I'm explaining to you is that like the way that it was presented to me appealed to my sensibilities a little bit more.
That's snobby.
Yeah, sure, okay, whatever. It's snobby.
I don't care. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, I'm fucking snobby. Like, like I like fucking artsy shit. And even I'm like, my little fucking 7th grade ass was like, ooh, this is kind of arty. And Rancid in their own way was kind of arty, man.
No, they definitely are. No, they definitely cross both of those lines. I mean, you like Husker Du a lot, so I mean that tells me a lot about you.
Yeah. They're fucking incredible. But I mean,
I'm trying to get into that band. I just can't do it, man.
I think you get it.
Hey, give me a little time. I'll get there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really care if I get into them or not. I just was like, oh man, he likes them a lot.
Crazy guitar parts, and they're all over the fucking place.
It's funny because I don't listen to music like, okay, so my friends and I talk about movies a lot, and we always talk about, like, I don't watch movies the way that they watch movies. Like, I don't care about the same things that they care about. Like the score doesn't really matter to me. The cinematography almost never matters. The shot being lined up right doesn't really matter. The acting doesn't really matter. I don't care.
So they're like artistic kind of stuff.
Is it a fun time? Did I have a good time?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm in. Music is the exact same way. You're like, there's these crazy guitar parts, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. Is it catchy? Is it fun to listen to? Is there a message that I can get behind? If it's not easy for me to listen to, I won't even get to the message.
Yeah.
And I'm a simpleton, bro.
the thing with Husker Du is, like, they're fucking loud and noisy and chaotic.
It is kind of loud and chaotic.
But they also have this, like, sense of, like, melody that kind of, like, is pervasive throughout their music, and that's like
that really sentence hurts my feelings.
Yeah. Anyway, we can cover that in the hardcore podcast. So yeah,
they're not a hardcore band, bro. They're a fucking emo band. Stop it.
Not.
Yes, they are.
The first, like, 3 records are fucking just blistering hardcore records, and then they turn into, like, an alternative rock band. And when they signed to a major,
that's a better description. They're like an alternative rock band.
Yeah, later. But so yeah, dude.
How about the Unseen? Did you ever listen to them?
Again, like my like friends and other people I knew got more into them than I did.
So so did you not like A Global Threat either?
They were on my list. Again, these bands were on my radar. I was into pop punk a lot more, man, back then.
I can see that.
East
Bay has more of that going on in their, like, DIY scene. It's got like a more poppy.
You know what I mean?
Well, like, just listen to, like, specifically listen to, like, you can listen to Grimple, Filth, Crimshrine, Op Ivy. They all have, like, really poppy hooks.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. It's just a description. I like that stuff, so I'm not tripping at all, bro. I love pop punk. I can understand why growing up out there, you would totally be, like, leaning more into that.
It was different for me, and the bands that would play shows around here that were all ages shows were quite often, pop punk bands and ska bands, and so we didn't get a lot of the street punk stuff, But I will tell you, one of the first street punk bands that, like, really hit me, you know what I mean? That got on my radar was Swingin' Utters. Okay.
I'm glad you brought them up. I was going to bring them up if you didn't.
I would consider them a street punk band. You know what I mean? I
didn't used to until 6, 7, 8 months ago.
And if you're going to call them a pop punk band in the comments, go ahead. I don't really give a fuck. But, like,
yeah, dude, I don't care.
It's, aesthetically and stylistically, they're a fucking street punk band. You know what I mean? They got some sheen to them. It's a little bit more polished, especially their later era stuff. But their early records are straight up street punk records.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, it's like street punk with, like, an icing of 77 style on it. So it's like, it really is a combination of all the 77 to 82 stuff combined. But it's fast, dude. It's, like, really fast. And I think that the tempo matters when you're talking street punk, personally.
Yeah. And it's fucking awesome live. If you've never seen them,
I've seen them once. It was a long time ago.
They're fucking great. I saw them back in. There's like 3 fights that broke out. It was like
Jack Dalrymple plays and sings with them now, and
he's guitar in them. Yeah,
he's one of my all-time favorite musicians. So, like, I want to see them, like, now. I would love to see them a modern iteration. Yeah. What was your first Swingin' Utters album?
A Juvenile Product of Working Class.
Okay, mine was 5 Lessons Learned.
Great record. They're both.
Yeah, I got that one, and then I went back and got the other one because I didn't know it was out, and I thought the cover was cool. It had a hand with the bullets on it, and I thought, this is another example of me just, like, I didn't have any direction, so, like, I just thought, like, the Casualty stuff stuck out to me because I just was like, oh, these guys look like people that I would hang out with, and I just grabbed it, and, like, I was young, I was pissed off, I was forced into going to places I didn't want to go all the time, and so the Casualties were angry. And if you go back and if you ever want to give them a shot, go back and listen to, like, Diehards, bro. There's a lot of weird poppy melody in their songs that you don't expect from dudes that look like that.
No, definitely.
It's cool.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think those guys are probably a great band. I just again.
Yeah, no, it took me forever to get into some of these bands, bro. Like, dude, listen, I mean, look, I just got into the Clash like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Just a month ago. Like,
no.
So I mean, you get into what you get into when you get into it. If you get into it, some people will never. It's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like police the scene like that, bro. Like, I'll police the scene as in, if you're a bonehead, get the fuck out. Other than that, bro, you do what you want, man. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So many people are so uptight, bro. Like, just chill, man. Like just it's gonna be okay. And if it's not gonna be okay, we can't change it. So like, let's have a good time tonight. And then, when it's time to, get on the front line together, let's do it. But yeah, dude, the Swinging Utters are a pretty great band. Is the Juvenile, what is it called again?
Product of the Working Class. A Juvenile Product of the Working Class.
God, I get those words mixed up a lot. Is that your favorite record by them?
Wow. I would have to damn, it's tough. I think so. I think
Cool.
I think, whether that's like nostalgia, I just think it has the most bangers on it. You know what I mean? Like front to back. I think it's a definitive record. They've put out so much material since then.
I was gonna ask, have you listened to any of their more modern stuff?
Yeah, I like some of it. Some of it I'm just like I could kind of do without. They got a little bit more garagey and like 60s rock.
I like it. I really like it.
Later down the road.
Yeah.
And I think Jack adds a lot of those elements. I think Jack, after One Man Army and like that other band he was in, that I like.
Well, he's got like a few. He's got Revolt, Dead to Me, and he did what was the other one? There's another one that was really good. Toy Guitar. Thank you.
That's like his garagey kind of 60s rock stuff, Well,
so is Revolts. Revolts is very garage rock.
That was him, and I think Spike from Swinging Utters. Who's
I didn't know that.
Listening to Gimme's for a while. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
That guy's got a great voice. He's like super charismatic and shit. He's a great vocalist. But Jack, I think, brought in a lot of those kind of like 60s rock influences.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they kind of changed and went that direction. But I don't know. I don't prefer that sound personally.
I don't prefer it. I like their older stuff better. If I had to choose one or the other, I would go with their older material. But I do really appreciate. I like that they still sound like Swinging Utters to me. Yeah. But it doesn't get repetitive.
Right. Yeah. They switch it up a lot.
Yeah. I like some of that street punk stuff that's not generically street punk. Like I'll bring up a band that I don't think it's talked about enough, and I'm a fanboy and I'm friends with the singer, but Born to Lose out of Texas. Okay. I never really considered them a street punk band, and again, until I started doing these videos, and then I talked to Chris about it, and he's like, I mean, what were we if we weren't street punk? And I was like, I don't know, punk rock. That's all I thought. I also think that there is a punk rock genre, but like, and then I go back and listen to this stuff, and I go, I guess it does sound more like, the Unseen Casualties and all the shit than I thought it did.
Yeah. What makes something street punk versus not street punk, right? I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that the line is very blurry, and it's kind of wherever you want to put it. I always thought that they had to, like, scream more than sing to be a street punk band, but that's not true, because that's not even where it started. I didn't know that Oi music was considered street punk until, like, a year ago, because I always thought it was Oi and street punk, and it wasn't just Oi is street punk. Dude, look, I have to reiterate this to people. I do not claim to know everything. I am not some kind of...
You're not the Oracle?
Bro, no. And like, just because I've been in the scene for 30 years doesn't mean that I know everything. It doesn't mean that I paid attention to everything. Like, I mean, weren't you a kid at some point? Some of these people know so much. I'm like, how did you have any fun learning all that? Like, so, okay. So Born to Lose, I want to talk about them for just a second.
Yeah.
They are so good. I don't understand how they don't have a reputation like Swinging Utters or the Briggs or Far From Finished or anything. I don't understand how, because I think that they're better than all of those bands. And that's with respect, because I love all of those bands. I'm not gonna say how many degrees better. I just think if I had to choose one, it's them. And dude, like Chris's lyric writing is so awesome. Like, God, dude, I need to hook you and him up, dude. Like, you need to talk to that guy. Y'all would have a blast talking to each other, because you're both very similar, man. Like, just here, like for real. Like I have a lot of the same conversations with him that I have with you. And he's one of my favorite people on the planet, dude. I guess his birthday's coming up. I can't wait to go see him, dude. But it's funny because my favorite record by them is like, he doesn't like it really at all. And I find that hilarious. A lot of musicians do that, but they have Sweet Misery is my favorite record by them. Favorite song by them too, actually. You can tell he listens to Rancid a lot. You can tell he likes like rock and roll. Like, you could tell, like, yeah, like that dude's fucking rock and roll to the bone.
Hell yeah.
And his band is, I say his band, the band. They're
Were they on a label? Were they signed? Was it all?
Yeah, they were on a couple of they were on like a small imprint, but they were good friends with Mark Lind of the Ducky Boys.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what label they were. I think that they got on some like real small label, but they did some good tours because they were friends with a lot of they were good dudes, man. Or they are good dudes. So like that back then, the label you were on wasn't necessarily a giant deal.
Right.
See. Oh, they were on Sailor's Grave. I'm tripping. That was a pretty substantial label. Why did I think that they were on a small label than that? I think they were at some point.
Sometimes these bands, they don't get the right like marketing push.
Oh, dude, if they had been on Hellcat, this band would have been fucking huge.
Yeah,
dude.
and it's just the luck of the draw. It's like who you know. And
well, like right now, Liberty and Justice. I think if they could go back in time 20 years and get signed to Hellcat, they would be as big as any band out there. Yeah, they sound like a Hellcat band.
They do actually. Yeah, a lot of ska and like rock and roll.
Oh god, I love that band so much. Just shout out Liberty and Justice, man. Shout out Ryan, dude. That guy does a lot of stuff for Texas, man. A lot of stuff for music.
That's awesome. Yeah, Born to Lose. That's a band that definitely was not on my radar. I think
out of Austin, Texas, man.
From Texas, you probly had a closer.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a whole list of Texas bands. I'll talk about them in detail pretty soon.
I'm gonna bring up an obvious one that I'm sure is gonna come up at some point in this conversation. I'm gonna get out of the way now. One Man Army.
I thought you were gonna say the Casualties. That's the obvious one. One Man Army. I never considered them a street punk band. I still don't. They're like a rock and roll band. That is a rock and roll, dude.
I think I don't know, man. I think they fall in that umbrella. I think
they're my second favorite band of all time. So you call whatever you want as long as they're not calling them shitty.
No, I love One Man Army. I think they're fucking fantastic. I think they check all the boxes for street punk aesthetically. I think they have a more of a pop kind of rock and roll tinge to them, but at the heart, at the core, it's a street punk band. Like Last Word Spoken, it's
oh my goodness,
it's more or less a street punk album, like front to back. The old songs, the second one, what that starts out with
they've got Dead End Stories, Last Word Spoken, and what's the third LP they had?
Yeah,
sitting over here. Hold on, it's on my shelf.
Rumors and Headlines.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a good record too.
My Olivia Rodrigo record. Good street punk album.
Okay, you got an Olivia Rodrigo record. Interesting. All right.
Have you listened to that girl?
I know she can sing.
Bro, yeah, she sings. It's not even that bad. She's just really catchy, dude. Like for pop music, that girl's top notch, dude.
You know who I can't stand listening to anymore? She's on the radio every time I turn my car on. Is a Chapel Roan. I can't do it.
Who's that?
Exactly. She has like red hair. She's like this generation's Katy Perry, essentially.
Ugh. What does she say? What's her name?
Chapel Roan. I can't believe I heard her music. She's fucking blown up. She's everywhere.
I don't listen to the radio at all, so that might be
her and Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, it's just on in my car for whatever reason. So when I get in my car and I turn it on, it's on a local radio station.
Yeah, I don't listen to the radio either, but I've never seen this woman ever, and she looks like she would annoy me.
But the radio station plays the same 5 songs over and over again.
It really does.
Well,
okay, let's talk some more.
All right, let's get back to it. Okay.
So what's your favorite One Man Army album?
Oh, Last Word Spoken, man.
Is it?
Without a doubt, yeah.
I don't think I can even have one, man. I listened to all 3 of them back to back to back all the way through and don't skip a single song.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they're all great. But I would say Last Word Spoken. Just that album for me, nostalgic wise, like me and my buddy Jason would just like sit at the park or in a garage and just get fucking hammered. And
man, I'm a little concerned. I didn't see my records on the shelf because I have them. That bothers me. I gotta figure that out after we get done here.
All the time, you know what I mean? It's a short album. It's like maybe 30 minutes.
Dude, I prefer records like that.
No, but like what I'm saying is that we'd get through like a 12-pack and we just play it again, or
I mean that's the way to do it, man.
Like Lawrence Arms or whatever, after that. But
all right. Let me drop one in. We have to talk about a global threat. Like we have to.
I know that's one because
they're like they were like when all the guys that were like that kind of street punk stopped listening to the Casualties. It's because the Casualties were too popular, and so now they're listening to a global threat. But A Global Threat is really good. Like
Yeah,
they were really good.
They're like younger kids too, I think.
They were. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, okay. What's wrong, Parker P? Hold on one second.
That's all good.
What's up? What's wrong, buddy? You okay? I know, baby. It's time to go to bed, sweetheart. It's 12:30.
I just want to watch a movie.
You want to sit in here? Okay. Can you be quiet? I'm filming with my buddy.
Oh, he wants
to
to
behave. Okay, it's okay. I got him, Charlie.
Okay.
You okay?
I just opened the door and came in all with
It's
him.
okay. Just let me finish what I'm doing. I'm working right now. Okay. Thank you. Hold on, Nitty. Wait 1 second, dude.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Little bear, why are you being crazy? You want to come say hi to Nitty? Come here. Come here. Bring doggy with you. So what's up, Nitty?
Hey, bud. What's up, Parker? Why are you awake? It's so late.
Hey, I party.
A party.
You want to do a podcast with us?
Uh-oh. Say sure.
Sure.
Who's your favorite band?
Who's your favorite band? Do you like Green Day or Rancid better? You probably like Rancid better. You listen to them more.
Green.
Green Day? Okay. Sorry, my bad.
It's because you
Fine. Still out. Little pop punk nerd.
Yeah, it's all right. That's how it starts. He'll get to the street punk later.
Right?
Good night, Parker.
You're a butt butt. Don't call me a butt butt. You're a butt butt. No, you're a butt butt. Here, let me turn on something for you to watch. I got to get back to work, bud. I got at least another few minutes on here, pal. You got to calm down. No, we're good, bro. This is, dude, I leave this stuff in the podcast. People think this shit is hilarious. Bro, if you can't handle me being a father, dude, then get up off my channel. Like, I don't care. This is so much more important to me than punk rock music. Let's see. There you go, buddy. I mean, I'll edit some of this like sitting here out, but like I leave a bunch of the talking in because I think it's funny. You want to watch Scooby Doo? Wait, what? No. You want to watch Scooby Doo or Paw Patrol? Peppa Pig? Okay, we'll do Peppa.
He wants that Peppa Pig action.
Yeah, he loves Peppa Pig, bro.
All the kids do.
You're a giant pumpkin. Call me a giant pumpkin? Okay, let me do this and then I'll talk to you afterwards, okay? All right, I love you. Okay, sorry. Back to it. All right. A global threat, yeah, dude. Like, okay, sorry, folks. You know, dad duty here. A global threat is like they were like the new and improved legit street punk band. And I mean, I don't even disagree. They were really, really great band. I don't think that they thought of themselves that way. They were probably like, hell yeah, we're just glad to do what we're doing. But you know, the punk rock elite, they would do their thing, and it would just get super messy. But they were really important, and they were the band. I'll be honest, man. When I got a global threat, got into them, and I finally got a shirt. I saw them play. I was like, I felt like I was legitimate because like it was easy to go see the Casualties play. They played in front of big crowds at big venues. Right. Global Threat played in like tiny little one-room places that held 100 people, and they probably wanted to play in those giant places like the. I mean, they probably toured with the Casualties, I would think. But I couldn't recall like an album that I liked by them. It's one with like a black background and a face like with the mouth open and spiky hair. I look like a drawing or like maybe a heat signal. It looks weird. It's called. You know what? I'm gonna have to look it up, dude. That's the record I listened to the most. I remember that one.
I'm looking for it.
Let's see.
A global threat. Where the Sun Never Sets. Is that it? No.
No.
That's their fourth album. Wow, I didn't even know they had that many records.
Yeah, they had a. Oh, I listened to What the Fuck Will Change quite a bit too.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone listens to, I think.
Yeah, and then In the Red, I think is what I'm thinking of. Wait, yeah. No, here it is. Until We Die. That's the one I used to listen to a lot. What the Fuck Will Change and Until We Die. Those are the two that I listened to the most because when I got into them, I was probably like 19 or 20, and I turned 19 in 2001, and that's when those were like coming out, gaining momentum. And A Global Threat was always a band that I really I thought was really good. I don't know. They're from Maine. It says I didn't know that. I thought they were from the East Coast.
That is East Coast.
Is it? Okay. I'm bad with geography. My apologies.
So,
Maine
yeah, I think they moved down to like Boston or something.
Okay. I think one of the fellows from the Unseen played with him for a while. Mark, maybe.
Yeah, he's the guy that put him on, I think, and then joined the band later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
He got him
What
going.
about the Virus? Did you ever listen to them? See,
Nah.
you didn't really jam that Mohawk shit at all, dude. So I don't understand how you.
I wasn't like a Mohawk core dude, man. That wasn't. You notice all the bands I'm bringing up, other than Rancid, are Mohawk bands.
You're missing out on a lot of good music, man.
That's right. I'm sure I was. I mean, everyone is, right? I mean,
hey, if I make a playlist and send it to you, will you listen to it?
Yeah, I'll make you one.
Please do.
We'll trade.
No, dude, please do. I would love to hear some stuff I haven't heard before.
Yeah, the Virus is another band, dude.
They're also really good. I like the Virus a lot. But I mean, this is like the era that I was like coming up in is like the guy. So here's the thing: is like it depends on who I was around, and I think that goes for everybody, right? At one point, I was living with my friend Gabe, who sang for a band called Pride Kills. So I was like, still a punk rock kid, but I was listening to a lot of hardcore. So I was like, Blood for Blood, Agnostic Front, all that stuff, right? But when I lived with my friend John, who had a giant mohawk, and his girlfriend had a mohawk and a side hawk, and like, they wore nothing but battle vests and bondage pants all day. Like, that's just kind of what I was into as well. I will say this. I always stuck to my guns. And even back then, I got a lot of crap for being a big fan of Rancid, One Man Army, and U.S. Bombs. They were making fun of me all the time for those bands. They were like, you like that shit, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't understand the difference. To me, it's just a little bit slower, but it's the same music. And
because it wasn't like hardcore enough. It was probably
right. Yeah, they thought it was, they thought it was corny or whatever. But like, I stood my ground, bro. I took my licks and stood up for those bands. So like, I'll never not do that. But I like all that other stuff too, man. I never got into the Exploited very much. I never got into Total Chaos a lot until a little bit later. They have a 77 sounding album. They have a really good record. They have a couple. They've got a Pledge of Defiance.
I played in a band with someone that played in Total Chaos.
Really? I like Total Chaos would be like the bigger band that I actually do like.
He was a piece of shit.
do what now?
The guy that I played in the band with that was in Total Chaos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want
I know they had some bad luck with some members because that girl drummer of theirs like stole a bunch of their merch and sold it and kept all the money.
Damn. I mean, that's one of those bands that probably didn't make a lot of good decisions,
I mean, they're still relevant and touring today. I mean, I'd say that I would have to disagree based on that.
That's good for them. I never liked it, but good for them.
Dude, you're the worst person to talk about street punk with.
Well, that's not true. I'm bringing up great examples.
I guess
there could be better. You want a guy with the mohawk to do this, not some fucking.
No, I don't want a guy with a mohawk. I don't have a fucking mohawk. I just want a guy that likes street punk.
I like street punk.
Dude, all you listen to is Husker Du.
That's it. Just one band
all day.
24 hours a day.
That would be hilarious, bro. Like, what is your favorite song today? You're like the same one yesterday. Son of a bitch.
The same one.
But I liked of the Virus a lot. Global Threat. All those bands were really good. Okay. Throw me another one.
Okay. This is a band that I like a lot. That's also a street punk band that actually moved from Florida to Oakland, California, where I live.
Dude, street punk bands don't come from Florida. You know that. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right? The Belltones. Have you heard of the Belltones?
Yeah, I've heard of the Belltones. You consider that a street punk band, huh?
I do consider them a street punk band. Yeah, of course I do. What would you consider them? I mean, they have a lot of 77 style stuff, but they're.
It's another example of a band that I would just call like a punk rock band. But like I said, dude, I mean, I'm fucking obviously wrong.
Are the Belltones a street punk band? Tell me in the comments. Tell me I'm full of shit below, and why, please.
They're good. Look. Are they good or are they not good? That's really matters. And yes, they're a good band.
I think they're fucking fantastic. Their album On Deaf Ears is fucking great. Cheap Trinkets, also a great album.
Cheap Trinkets is really good. There's another band that used that layout for their album recently. I wish I could remember what it was.
The little heart locket thing.
Yeah. Dude, Belltones are great. I just that one surprises me. I don't know enough about them to be able to recite like songs or albums, but I like them.
They've got a very 77 type of straight up fucking punk sound, man. That's like that they're kind of like the Swingin' Utters in a lot of ways. I would consider
that's a good comparison. I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So if the Swingin' Utters are street punk, then so are the Belltones, right?
Well, they're clearly a ska band, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're a ska band, straight up. They got a couple of ska songs.
Pick it up.
I'm not dropping pure street punk bands like you are right now. I know that. No. You're bringing so I'm gonna make up for it and drop a pure street punk band.
No, it's all good. I'm just a little surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised. This is the same kind of thing Rob used to do. But Parker, keep the volume down.
There's a band that I discovered today actually that I like a lot.
Okay.
And I mentioned to you in a text.
Oh yeah, that was my next one in line. So bring them up.
Pistol Grip.
That is a great band. That is another band. Yeah, you were a little surprised when I said how much I liked them.
Yeah, I was. I mean, just because I was like a Pistol Grip. I looked up a street punk on Spotify, right? I was just like,
okay,
like the 90s street punk, right? And then I went down the rabbit hole of the other bands. Like, I don't know if it was like a Global Threats radio or like One Man Army or one of those bands. And then
it's probably Global Threat, dude. They'll get you to a lot of this stuff, and they'll get you to a very diverse.
Yeah, and I ended up on this band. I'm like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. And I think the song I ended on was on that. There was a gun on the cover, kind of pointed at you.
Shots from the Calico Road.
That one, yeah. And then it was a song off that record.
That tells you how much I love that band. That I could pull that up like that. Yeah, I have a notoriously bad memory.
You knew very quickly. No, your memory's pretty good, dude. I mean, it seems like at least. So, and then I went to the band's page, and then I pulled up that like songs and see fucking sharp from the String Theory.
That's their weirdest album, but it's probably their best. But it's not my favorite.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I don't know.
It's very, very good.
And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I mean, it's like very dark, but melodic, but also like punk, obviously. But you can tell they're drawing from like different influences,
So sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say about it.
So, okay. So there's two bands that I'm going to talk about for a second, but it's in relation to Pistol Grip. So I'm not moving off the Pistol Grip thing yet. Right. First off, I love Shots from Calico Rose and I love Another Round. Both of those records did a lot for me. I think they were on BYO, if I'm not mistaken. Those albums did so much for me. Right. They introduced me to more of an oi sound than I was used to hearing. And that's probably the reason that and early Dropkick Murphys are probably the reason why I like any kind of like oi street punk stuff, but back in the day in Texas, there was a band called the Strap-Ons, and then they turned into, I don't know if that's the right word, but they became Complete Control. Okay. And they have a very, very similar vocal style. And if you like the first two albums from Pistol Grip, I urge you to go listen to Complete Control and even the Strap-Ons. Because I think you'll dig it. Because I used to get them very confused. I would get them if I was on a mixtape or something and I was, listening to it on like a Walkman. If I didn't have like the list in front of me, I would be like, "Oh, which band was that?" And I can tell now. But when I was younger, I used to get them mixed up a lot. But if you like Pistol Grip, go check out Strap-Ons, which I think they only have like an album and an EP or something like that, and then Complete Control, which has like an album.
But Pistol Grip is a band that I just really discovered today. So. It's fresh in my.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. BYO put out a lot of kind of street punky adjacent stuff.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
You know what I like about talking with you, but being on my channel and in my little safe space here, like I appreciate that people get on here with me and talk about bands that they just discovered and not be like worried about it, because so many people are so concerned with making an impression on a group of people that they don't realize that the people they're trying to make the impression on are doing the same thing. So why don't we all just be ourselves and like just appreciate the punk rock scene? Yeah, I love just being able to talk music and like not having to worry about being judged. And if because occasionally I get judged on here, but I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. It's a nice platform, man. I appreciate everybody watching and hanging out and doing this with us, man.
Cool. I think that for the most part, people are appreciative of this stuff, and if they're watching this, enjoy the conversation.
At least this far in,
have something to add. Yeah, it's been 50 minutes. We should wrap this up soon, though. That's okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. there was one more band I wanted to actually throw in.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many bands that I can probably
Right.
The thing is that like, side note, as a caveat, the kind of punk that I like a lot, the most is like a melodic kind of gruff punk, right?
Okay.
And I think, even though it might not be directly street punk, it's adjacent or like heavily
Right.
in some way, right? So it's like a lot of the bands I really enjoyed in the 90s, like, I don't know, for instance, Dillinger 4, you know what I mean?
I like that. That's dad rock, bro. I love that shit. Dad punk.
Like, what do you call that shit? I mean,
dad punk. I call it dad punk. That's what I call it.
I like dad punk, right? Yeah. No, it's like,
no, dude. If you go Google, look, dude, do it right now. Google what bands are dad punk. I bet you Dillinger 4 is on there.
It's all the bands I like.
Yeah, Joyce Manor, all that shit, dude. I love that stuff, dude.
Yeah, so that band,
Nothington.
The Nothington. Yeah. D4 was a band I discovered when I was like 16, right? Midwestern Songs for the Americas. That CD came out on fucking Hopeless, and I found that CD, and that was a game changer. I'm not even going to call them a street punk band.
They're not a street punk band,
but I'm saying that, like, no,
they don't get to be brought up in this conversation, sir. They're not a street punk band.
Okay, cool.
Are you serious?
But like, I'm just saying that.
I mean, they're not at all. But whatever. We talk about whatever we want.
You could see that they were influenced by street punk bands. You know what I'm
really?
saying? So it's like, yeah. It's gritty, hard-edged fucking punk, right? I mean, like, and it's in its own way.
I don't consider it gritty, hard-edged punk. No. I consider it very melodic, very soft-edged, actually, is what I would. I mean, whatever. It's all about perspective, right? Like,
I guess the Dillinger 4 is more of a pop punk band.
Yeah, I consider them very poppy, like that beard punk shit from like Florida. Hot water music. They have more in common with hot water music than they do, say, Pistol Grip.
Sure, but like, I think, again, there's some elements that you can draw like comparisons to, right? In some ways, somehow, right? I mean, it's like, so I
can draw comparisons from Pink to Rancid. I don't do it.
So okay, we're not talking about D4 anymore. Another band, I think their first two records are pretty street punky, and then later down the road they weren't. But I want to say American Steel. They're also from the area.
I consider them the dad punk stuff. I love that band.
But yeah. Again, later down the road. But if you listen to their first two records,
I'm very familiar with those albums. I love those albums. I don't consider them street punk at all.
Rogue's March and just the self-titled record. I mean, dude, that's like fucking.
Nothing about those are street punk.
But why? Why?
Because street punk is a sonic sound. It has to fit a certain mold to be street punk. It just does. Like, I don't care. It doesn't make it good or bad. I love that band.
No, I'm asking a genuine question. I just don't know, right? Like,
well, there's a particular style, and there's also a lyrical content that goes along with it. It all starts with that UK82 stuff, and you don't get to American Steel from UK82 music. You just don't. It's just not that kind of music. They might listen to those bands, but that's not where you get their inspiration from. Like, and look, if I'm wrong, whatever, it's fine. It's a conversation, and you might very well be right. When I hear that, I do not think street punk at all. Like, I think One Man Army is not a street punk band. I think Rancid is often not a street punk band. Swinging Utters is pushing it, in my opinion. I think that it's more like oi bands, and then shit like the Casualties, the Unseen, Global Threat. That's street punk to me.
Every band that I brought up is not a street punk band.
I mean, there's an argument for most of them. Swinging Utters is the one that I say was probably the most street punk.
Swinging Utters and One Man Army are going to be one of them.
One Man Army. I still won't bend on the One Man Army thing. I don't.
All right, then let's just, you know what? I'm gonna bring in the ones that are obvious. Pistol Grip, we can agree, is a street punk.
Yes,
band.
Pistol Grip. Yeah, Swinging Utters, I think, is a street punk band.
Yeah. Belltones, I'm gonna say it's probably arguable. It's probably
I don't actually know enough about them, so I'm gonna say that they sound enough like Swinging Utters that I'm gonna say they probably are a street punk band.
The Bruisers are a street punk band.
Yes.
Oxymoron is a street punk band.
That's one that I was gonna get to.
Yeah. Oxymoron is probably the most obvious, that I can think of. And they're pretty great. I was listening to them in my car. And
I like Oxymoron. What about Defiance? Did you ever listen to them?
No, that was another one. I saw the name come up a lot, but
they've got some good songs.
Yeah.
They're a little bit depressing, honestly, if you listen to their music. Like most of these bands have like a really uplifting like idea of like, we're gonna make some shit happen, or we're gonna do what we want, and they have songs like No Future, No Hope, and I'm like, Like, I don't know, but it's still a really good song. So
Yeah.
take it for
it's punk, right? So
yeah.
you have to put that in the good stuff,
What about Career Soldiers?
Who?
Career Soldiers?
No idea who that is.
They're good too. Clip 45.
Another band that you mentioned. Isn't one of the guys in that band in that band you're putting out?
Yes, Dave, the singer, sang for Clip 45 too. He's in Before Dawn and the Fiends. I don't think the Fiends are a street punk band, but Clip 45 absolutely was. Let's see, who else would I think of?
You really like street punk a lot, so
Well, yeah, I grew up on it. One that I don't really care a lot for, but I respect them and I understand how they're very popular is Lower Class Brats. Not really my favorite band, but they're very popular. Man, I have to bring this up. Anti-Flag is one that, like, when before this happened.
You think
well, no, I don't think so. They're a street punk band, but they were like very important to me and all of my friends. Man, that hurt so bad that like it almost made me like absolutely hate those people, like, because it hurts so bad to lose that catalog, because people that are like the same people that are like you should never listen to those guys will go and listen to other bands and watch movies with shithead people in it and go, oh, I separate the art from the artist. I don't typically do that. I can't. I don't know how to. And so there's other stuff we'll talk about off air that like you'll probably chuckle at, but like I don't typically do that. So
yeah, I get that. I mean,
that band, I can't listen to their music anymore. I have a couple of CDs for sentimental reasons that I got when I was young that I can't seem to let myself throw away. But I got rid of all of my albums and I pulled it all off my shelf at my store too. Yeah. I chucked like $250 worth of records in a dumpster, man. That shit. I'm a small business, man. That hurt, dude. Like,
I understand.
So people that got a problem with me, man.
You didn't feel right selling them either?
No, because like I didn't want to be like, here, I can't listen to this, but you can.
Right.
I felt like it'd be really hypocritical of me to do that, is what it was. That's what it was. I had to look in the mirror and go,
it'd be like you having like a screwdriver fucking record or something.
Right. And I wouldn't have that either. So it's like, man, I'm a big hypocrite if I have, I don't know if I have it completely like that, but yeah, same conversation. And so I just thought man, I'm a big piece of crap if I have this record in my store. And if, what if some girl comes in here who knows about that band, has been through that situation, walks in and sees that on my shelf, I probably hurt her feelings pretty bad. And it's not worth $25 or whatever dollar of profits it would be, $8 in profit to have some young ladies or whatever I put into the records, I guess, whatever. Right. So a couple $100 to hurt some girls' feelings, dude. Like, I just don't need the money that bad. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes you have to take a financial loss to make a point and to be a good human. And people don't want to do that often. People only care about money. And I just don't care about money that much. I care about people more. So
definitely.
I went through the trouble of doing that. What about so there's a bunch of bands. Oh, I gotta bring up Crumb Bums. They were like the Texas Casualties.
George talks about them a lot.
Yes. Well, George from our
from the channel.
Online, yeah. So first off, where the fuck has he been?
He says he's been busy. I send him a text.
Dave from the Crumb Bums is the singer for the Casualties now, so like that makes a lot of sense to me. But the Crumb Bums are like, they were like our Casualties down, dude. They were huge down here, bro. Like, I love the Crumb Bums. Dude, shout out to Davey, man. Davey Tejas, bro. This dude's awesome. He's such a sweet human being, man.
Isn't there some band called Starving Wolves, or is that some other?
Yes, dude.
Okay.
They're good too, man. Like, there's a lot of good modern street punk bands. What about Bombshell Rocks? I don't really consider them street punk either, but they're on this list.
I would say that counts. I was gonna
really?
I think that like I might have had the wrong idea of what street punk actually was when I made this list. And therefore, I'm just throwing like random punk rock bands on this.
Yeah. But hey, no, but that's what these conversations are for, though. That's exactly what this is for. It's so that we can go, hey, man, I learned something today on either front, me or you. It doesn't matter who. Like, it's all good.
Right. And again, like, the Mohawk street punk stuff wasn't the stuff that I grew up on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, we should make like a combined playlist. Like, we should share bands and stuff and make just one big ass playlist that I can tag in all my little street punk videos.
That'd be great.
Because, like, dude, look, it's at the end of the day, it's just a conversation. We're only naming our bands that we enjoyed. There's going to be 100 bands that we didn't mention. that people are pissed off about. It's okay. You can get upset. I think it's a waste of
What
time.
about, it's going to be what about in like 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
So
7.
like, why not just say, hey, I like these bands? Don't say what about, because I know that they exist. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We're just talking about the ones we really enjoy. Throw your list in the comments. I'd love to see it, because also there's going to be bands that I don't know in those lists. So please put your lists out there. I don't really consider Discharge a street punk band, but I think I'm probably wrong. I always thought they were like a D-beat band.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The word D-beat wasn't coined until after Discharge was even
True.
So it's like at the time they were just a street punk band, right?
That's a good point.
It's like after the fact. So I think a lot of those UK 82 bands were in reality street punk bands.
Right. For sure.
GBH,
like,
all that shit.
Man,
GBH,
shout out. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying that GBH, like, I don't know if you like that band, but
I like GBH. I don't like them. Like, I'm not their biggest fan, but I own a couple of their records. I like GBH. I'd wear a shirt. I like them enough for that. Like, that tells me a lot. If I don't want to wear a shirt, that tells me that I might like your band, but I don't own a bunch of your albums. If I own some albums, I'll wear a shirt.
Right.
Like, I bought a Clash bootleg shirt because I finally owned 2 of their albums, and I was like, all right, I can wear this now. Like, I'm not going to be a fucking turd about it. Like, and also, I don't care if you're wearing a band shirt that you don't know. I don't care. Wear whatever you want. I don't give a shit. I'm just not gonna care. Like, I just simply don't care.
But you don't like the music too much, A lot of metal bands like that for me.
There's Blank 77's another one that we didn't talk about. One Way System, Monster Squad. Shout out to those dudes.
So Monster Squad, funny you bring that up. The singer of that band is in a band that we play with a lot around here. Love, LUV.
Okay, cool. Do you know Matthew who plays drums in Monster Squad?
I don't know that guy.
No,
I just know
he's a cool dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's cool. He came on the show once. He was real nice.
I think they're from the Bay Area.
They just did some re-releases of some of their old stuff, and I finally got it on vinyl. I was pretty happy. And also there's some new bands out right now. We got I want to bring up a couple of new bands just to shout them out, man. Yeah. We have Rotten Stitches. There's Still Pissed. There's Dogface Bastards. We have Starving Wolves out of Texas. Generation Exit's more rock and roll, but they come from street punk bands. So Generation Exit's out there.
That would have been a band that I probably would have fucking pegged the street punk or something.
Yeah, those dudes are rad, man. I think they would consider themselves street punk. So I think they're more like rock and roll. I just have these weird lines that I draw. I categorize my own shit in. But like, there's a lot of good bands out right now. There's a band called The Flex that's really good. We have Bullshit Detector, Liberty and Justice out there, man, doing their thing. Concrete Elite. There's so many good bands that are out there right now. But
it's like there's too many fucking bands, man.
Dude, what are you doing?
I'm getting water. Sorry. I'm pouring water. It's my bedtime, bro. I gotta go to bed.
Bro, it is 1 a.m. for me. Calm down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fucking do this shit.
I rock this shit, bro. Man, let's get out of here. Let's wrap it up, dude. That was our talk about street punk bands that we enjoy. Okay. So please let us know, like, maybe your top 5 street punk bands from that era. If you like anything that's modern that we don't know about, let us know. I want to know. I want to support these bands. If you are in a band and you want to advertise or do a promo thing, let me know. And if you also, if like you have a good band that you want me to listen to or something, like, let me know, man. I'm down for whatever. This is where you can come and hang out and be yourself, dude. So
yeah, and talk shit in the comments. I want to hear you talk shit.
Yeah, call me a poser, dude. Like, I need the interactions, please.
Talk more.
Like, I need the engagement, dude. Like, I
like and subscribe. Talk shit.
Yeah, dude. I like Olivia Rodrigo. What do I do now?
Oh.
All right, everybody. We'll see y'all next time on the Punk Rock Review Podcast. Peace.